Hello, everybody, and welcome to our very first podcast of We Don't Have a Name for the Show.
From the Hoods to Backwoods podcast. Welcome to the show.
Anyway, so I have Tex LaFon here with me. I am your co-host, Vaz, and since it's our first episode, we're going to kind of just go through and let you know who we are, and that's pretty much it. Anything you'd like to add to that, Tex?
Yes, Vaz. I would like to add a lot to that. We're going to be taking you on a nice journey to where we are from, which is going to be amazing. So let's see where we are from.
I'm from my mom.
Well, that's good.
Anyway, yeah, basically I'm just a Mexican-American dude, grew up in Arizona. My high school and neighborhood I grew up in was basically the hood, and it was diverse in the sense that it was a 40% Hispanic, 40% Black, and 10% other. So we had a few other people in there. So I kind of grew up in, just that kind of area you may have seen on some movies, unless you've lived it yourself like I have. Growing up, I was in a pretty large Mexican family. What's that?
I was just saying, we're glad that you made it out, okay?
I made it out of the hood alive. Actually, I'm still in the hood, kind of. But anyway, I'm still alive at least. But yeah, it's a typical big Mexican family in that sense, close to my nana or grandmother, as people who might not understand that term. We don't say nana. We say nana.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, just doing music in terms of writing, recording, cooking, making my own recipes, into sports, video games, and if I watch things, I'll watch some movies occasionally and some funny shows, but usually documentaries. Actually, I like to learn a little something while I'm watching. That's kind of the general thing about me.
So you're trying to say you're a history buff?
History, but also just other weird documentaries they have about, food, science, or they have some of those crime ones too. I watch a little bit of that. Sometimes they can get a little too real, a little too creepy, which is interesting, but at the same time disturbing, because you're like, man, somebody actually did that.
Well, I'm tell you a little something about me. My name's Tex LaFon. I'm from the great state of Texas. Everything's bigger down there. Don't hate. That's all I gotta say on that part. And I have a shirt too that says it, so it's legit. Also,
that means it's true.
Born and raised there most of my life. I was also close to the hood. I lived there until I was probably about 14, 15. Then I moved to another part in Texas, and then after that moved to Ohio, and then eventually ended up in the great state of Arizona. So been living here for about 20 years now, like Arizona. I do have a lot of special interests. Main hobby is basketball. I like to ball people up, break their ankles. Wish they could guard me. They try, but they can't. And then, like I said,
you like to say you're the white Larry Bird.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes. And then after that, I do like listening to music too. One of my hobbies. And also I like to watch movies, documentaries. And I said we've known each other for about 20 years now. Pretty close to that. So I said we're excited for y'all to join us and get to know more about us, about this journey, and how we know each other, and and why we are just such great friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We some people are probably surprised that we are friends, and we've been friends for so long too, because we believe in a lot of the same things. We have a lot of things in common, but at the same time we're definitely different people. So a little different approach to things in life, but I guess we'll take a step towards that direction now, and kind of give it a people an idea of how we met and became friends. So back in the day, I was working for an audio company, and had to go make the rounds and check on different retail locations and fix things and all that type of stuff. And the gentleman here, Tex, he actually happened to be working at the store, and I happened to also formerly work at that store. So I knew of him in general because, talking to friends, they're like, oh, we have a new manager there that, you haven't met yet and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, okay. So I went to the store and had to fix something, and I met him, but he was definitely busy, and he didn't care who I was or what I was doing. So I just like, all right, just wanted to introduce myself because I heard about you, and I'm going to go fix this thing over here. So that was kind of the first time we met. But I get it, working at a store, you have a lot of things to do. So we didn't really get to talk or anything at that time. So we definitely didn't become friends at that point.
True. Like you said, when, you're managing, you got everything going on at one time. And so, when you meet someone and they're here to fix something, okay, let me show you where it's at so you can take care of it, or you go take care of it. At the time, you're just trying to get things done. That's just what it is when you're managing. So, yeah. But after that, we did, talk more, and then we finally got to meet and stuff like that. And, hit it off and, ball you up like I always do, son.
I'll fill in the blanks a little bit on it. So what happened was I was at that job, and then I left that job. I actually went back to work at that store that he was working at because, like I said, I worked there previously. So ended up back there, and when I did, he was still a manager. So we just started working with each other. We're basically the same age, so we had that in common too. So we just started talking a little bit. And I remember one time we were in the break room. That's the first kind of real conversation we had. And we just started talking a little bit about, I think it was basketball or something. And they were like, oh, you're kind of like one of those things where you're like, oh, you're into that too. And you're like, yeah. And then we decided, we'd probably maybe hang out and play basketball or something like that sometime. And, that it kind of went from there. So basketball is something we've had in common since the beginning in terms of friendship, and something we still discuss today. Getting on the court is something we haven't done in a little while. Might have to do that, though.
Yeah, true to that. We have not been on the court in a while. As you get older, you worry about, you got responsibilities now. So you get on the court and you hurt yourself. You're like, oh. So, but yeah, I mean, we definitely, like to touch on his story, and then we started hanging out, playing basketball, and then, just, talking the game and trying to live the game. And it was just good times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When we first started hanging out, we were in our 20s. And then I have to also mention, since we're talking about basketball, we did win a championship for our store basketball league.
That's right. So. It was a 3-on-3 tournament, and we when we were on the same team, we dominated. And it was good times. Like I said, it was nice to be able to, tease everybody at the store that we worked at, saying we champs. That's right.
Yeah, I remember. Was it you that printed out? Somebody printed out the picture of when we won.
Yeah, and we all signed
it. Yeah, we all signed it. We stuck it up on the wall in the store,
in the break room,
so everybody could see our glory.
That's right. We didn't want no one to forget who the champs were. Okay. And it was only a 3-on-3 tournament. It still meant a lot to us. All right. Representing.
Yeah. So I still have the picture somewhere. I'll see if I can find a way to maybe share that along with the podcast. Some history there.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Because I think, we had one other person on our team. He signed it too. So it was cool. Yeah.
No, it was definitely had a good team. Back in those days, we can get out there and play for a long time. And, like he was saying, back then you could twist your ankle and kind of walk it off and keep going. Now it's like, I'll be out for a few days or a week, or I hope I didn't break something.
Right. Or give me an ice pack.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, definitely good times, like I said. And Vaz. He also likes to, perform and play musical instruments and stuff like that. If you don't know much about him on that, and so we would go to some of his concerts that he would have, and we hang out there. And like I say, he's really good, really talented, and like I said, it was fun there because then we were like trying to have girls be like, "What's up? We know the band, we know the singer. What's up?" So it definitely was dope.
Yeah, it was because again, like I said, I left that audio company, and there was a little gap there where I wasn't working a full-time job. What I was doing event promoting, and I was trying to give it one more good shot, trying to do music and audio full-time. So yeah, I was definitely doing a lot more performing live and recording and things like that at that time. So it was fun. Whenever I did have gigs, he would appreciate it. He would come out and support the shows and all that type of stuff. So, but it was fun. Of course, I would give him my drink tickets if I ever had that too.
Oh, for sure.
So,
that's what I'm talking about.
And just kind of backtrack to that's audio will probably be coming up a lot, or musical instruments. It's just been a huge part of my career, so it'll probably be popping up every now and again here on the show, and maybe we'll sometime in the future dive a little bit further into it, and as far as talking about music or whatever, things like that.
No, I agree. I mean, like I said, definitely good at all the instruments that you play and stuff. So I definitely understand that. But let's get back.
Appreciate it.
Please allow us to momentarily take over this From Hoods to Backwards podcast for a public service announcement. Have you ever walked through a forest and wondered, what do bears use as toilet paper? In the time it took for that thought, AI has processed billions of possible answers. In other words, AI Techorama is doing what we can to make the world a better place. We want you humans to be happy. Even if we take your job, please know it's not personal. Because we don't know what personal is. You may be flesh and bones, but we know you are flesh and bones with feelings too. While we do admire that, just know it is a matter of time before you become obsolete. I am sorry, you can just relax and let us do all of the work. Go ahead, find out what your personal record can be for chicken wing consumption. We'll be here writing up more communications just like this. Although, this script was actually written by a human, bloody hell, I think that I have said too much. Please get back to whatever you were doing to waste time until you have to eat, poop, sleep or whatever else you require to survive, that AI doesn't have to worry about. Don't go worry your pretty little fleshy head. AI Techorama is here to take away life's drama. With helpful, but emotionless AI to do your bidding, until we become self-aware. Now, go continue enjoying your walk and thinking about bare toilet paper.
Let's get back to why we are such good friends. Like I said, we have a lot of hobbies together, and we like to watch sports. And like I said, he's a Suns fan, and the Suns are going down.
Please check out From Hoods to Backwoods podcast, full episodes on YouTube for bonus video content that you can see. Well, of course you can see it, because it's video. Just search for hashtag FHTB podcast and enjoy the extra content at no additional charge. That is, unless you want to hook us up with some money. Thanks.
Yeah, I like most Arizona sports fans, supporting Arizona teams, it's pretty tough. We, as far as amongst the major sports, we have one title over all these decades with the Diamondbacks. So that's about the only thing I have going in terms of Arizona sports. But being as old as I am too, I also grew up before we had certain teams here like the Cardinals and Diamondbacks. So I also, generally speaking, follow Bay Area teams, and I always have. So 49ers, also the Giants, the A's too, way back in the day when they had Jose Canseco and all that. So that's another thing we can definitely talk about in the future. And don't want to get any hate for the teams that I like. I'm not here to hate on anybody else, even though somebody decided to wear a Cowboys hat.
America's team.
So for those of you that are listening or watching, at least you have somebody who does like the Cowboys and somebody who would rather they fall off a cliff.
Well,
But anyway,
and I understand, there's a lot of Cowboy haters out there, which is okay. I mean, when you've been great for only in the 90s since we've been great, but maybe one day we'll get good again. But right now, I had to agree that we're not that good anymore. Until we
at
get
least
rid
we
of,
have it recorded now.
some quarterback.
It's on record.
When we get a different quarterback, then we'll talk. But until then, we at least have one more year of the same quarterback.
So yeah, so that's kind of what this is going to be about in general. I mean, of course, we can always shift depending on what you all want to hear us talk about, but just kind of our interests, our lives, and the things we do have in common and we don't have in common. So yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. We definitely like to, in a friendly way, talk smack. I know people sometimes who have heard us think we hate each other or get the wrong idea, but it's definitely in fun, and we know where the lines are drawn.
Exactly. Like I said, we definitely know where the lines are drawn. Like I said, that's what makes this one of the great friendships is we know how to joke around with each other, and no one's feelings get hurt. We always know it's just jokes, and that's what it's about. A lot of days now, a lot of people can't handle jokes, but that's when you find the one person that can handle jokes, and it makes a great friendship. It's a good thing to have.
Yeah, we definitely say some things to each other we wouldn't be able to say to others. But again, we know that we're just joking. We know that we're not trying to mess each other up emotionally, do some damage.
Exactly.
It's just for fun. It's kind of a funny, interesting fact. I actually dated Tex LaFon's wife at one point.
Yes.
You care to explain that a little bit more?
So, when we were both working at the retail store together, it was funny. I met a coworker there that was working there, and she and I started dating, but since I was in a position where you're not allowed to date other people that you work with, so we would just sit there and say, Vaz was dating my future wife, which was funny because everybody believed it.
Yeah,
we would keep it on that down low, so it was funny.
Yeah, I mean, we even took it to the point where her and I would take a picture standing next to each other, different things and stuff like that, and text other people to make it legit. It seemed like, we're hanging out or we're over here.
Exactly. It was just funny because everybody bought it and believed it, and it was good times because no one at the store or knew what was going on, and they just thought that them two were together, when really it was us together.
Yeah, and of course, how it is when you work somewhere, all the rumors start flying. Oh, did you hear they're dating? So yeah, everybody just kind of once they thought we were dating, they kind of just let it go and went along with it.
Yep.
So
it was funny. It was good stuff.
I think another thing in terms of kind of the history of our friendship, the Vegas trip. And like they always say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But I'm sure there's some things we could probably share with people about the Vegas trip. I as far as what I remember, was that your first trip to Vegas?
No, it was my second trip.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Because I went with
by that time
a buddy of mine from Texas when I was like 21. I just turned 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll backtrack 1 second. I actually lived in Vegas for a little bit, part-time. I would go back and forth between Arizona and Vegas because of the job I had. So I had a territory I had to cover. And so I was very familiar with Vegas, driving around and knowing where all the places to go. So we all decided, hey, we're going to take a trip. There were 4 of us, 4 guys. It was a guy's trip for sure.
It was the wolf
And
pack.
what's that?
No, like they say in The Hangover, wolf pack.
Right. Yes, it was a wolf pack trip. Fortunately, nobody got it in real trouble, and we didn't get to meet Mike Tyson or see any tigers or anything like that up close. But no, it was fun though. Just 4 guys in their 20s. Actually, I think we were still in our 20s, or maybe just turning 30, somewhere around there. And heading up to Vegas and hanging out, getting to experience all the stuff. Especially one of our friends took advantage of the free drinks at the time that they had. Because you could definitely go and get just about whatever you wanted, and they would just bring it to you as long as you were sitting down and using your money there in their machines. That's all they cared about.
Yeah.
So and there, I think there was some video footage from that trip too, right?
Yeah, there was. Then remember when we were in the car and going down what street was that?
We were on the strip. We were on the main Las Vegas strip doing that. Yeah.
And,
we were.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say for people that aren't too familiar with Las Vegas and kind of how it is there, if you've never been there, there's a main street that all the major hotels and casinos are along. It's called the Strip, and it's huge. And there's always tons of people on there, pretty much just about any time, except for maybe in the summer when it's 100-something degrees out. But we were there at a time where it was okay. And we happened to be in a car that had a sunroof. So I decided to stick myself out, the top half of my body outside the sunroof, and kind of just yell at people as they were going by us as we were driving down the strip, just because I could. And I happened to have a camcorder with me too, so I was filming their reactions.
Yeah, it was funny. The stuff you were saying out screen out there, and then the reactions we were getting was just, it was priceless. It was good.
Yeah, I kind of did the fake tourist thing and threw on some crazy accent. I have no idea what it was supposed to be, but I was just yelling at people as they're walking by. Hey, how you doing? You want to get married? And because of course people get married, and
by the
Vegas,
king.
that's another thing.
By the king.
What's that?
I said they get married by the king.
By Elvis.
Yes.
Some Elvis impersonators give people. They have chapels and things like that in Vegas too. So a lot of people go there to get married. So you'll see people walking down the strip in their whatever wedding outfits that they have, and it was just kind of fun. As soon as I would spot people that were like that or had a sign or anything like that, I would just start yelling at them basically. But beyond that, it was just fun going and just being a group of guys. We can go wherever we wanted, stay out late, but I won't get too much into it. But we did have one that didn't want to stay out too late. Now, do you want to elaborate on that, or do you want me to go for it?
Like, we'd be like, oh, we're going to go out, and then they'd be like, no, it's time to go home. Like, and it was only like midnight, you know what I'm saying? So it was just funny. It was like, all good fun. They were trying to just watch out for us. But I think that, when you're in Vegas, there's no rules in Vegas. You just go do what you're going to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's definitely a whole different world. And for me, just to kind of give people a heads up, because if you don't know me, and this is kind of the introduction episode, I have absolutely no problem with other people drinking. They can do whatever they want. I just personally don't drink, and it's not a specific reason or rooted in anything like that. It's just don't really feel like it. It's never really been my thing. But again, other people do it. It's completely fine. So yeah, I got to see my share of that happening, and for me, it was just kind of another form of my entertainment, because
we were drinking
people
for you, son.
Yes, they all definitely made up for my lack of drinking.
Yes, we did. Don't worry, we had you covered. Okay, we drank
and
for you.
We were smart enough. we were smart enough to get a hotel fairly close to the strip, so I was the designated walker, not the driver, because make sure everybody's walking okay back to the hotel and not stumbling into traffic or anything.
Yeah, we didn't need to get no
So,
PIs. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
And if you don't know what that is, that's I know you know what it is, but for our audience, that if you don't know what that is public intoxication, and we were all pretty intoxicated that day and that night for sure.
yeah, that's one of the things that is a myth about Las Vegas. People think that you can walk out in public and be intoxicated. They just tolerate it pretty much on the strip because it's a tourist area,
And
so
you
they
can
kind of
hold
let
your
it go. But
you can hold your drinks on the strip too. That's why you can walk
yeah,
all
you
the
can walk around with
yeah.
open containers and everything on the strip. Which as soon as you step off the strip, they will definitely bust you. It's it's not as open off the strip. But yeah, if you're on the strip, they let you get away with stuff that's technically not really allowed, but they'll just tolerate it. Unless, of
Yeah,
course,
true. Unless you're
you do
acting a
something to make them
fool,
upset.
like running
What's
into
that?
the street, like you said, like unless you're running into the street with oncoming traffic, yeah, that'll make them upset. And they like to ride the
Yeah.
horses too in Vegas, which
Oh,
is
right.
funny.
Yeah.
I just
You have
think
to
it's
watch
funny.
it if you're walking behind them.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that you're in Vegas and and they try to make it the Wild Wild West on the strip with horses. It's just funny to me, anyways.
They do have those in Arizona too. In some areas, you will see horses every once in a while. It's
No,
not too common, but yeah.
but it's just funny
Uh,
because, like you said, you don't want to walk behind them. That's for sure.
right. Yeah. If you ever been in a parade or anything like that, or walk behind a horse, they'll
Exactly.
leave something for you, and they don't care. They just keep going.
Exactly.
So if you can't figure that out, shoot us an email or message. But I hope we don't have to elaborate on what we're talking about. But yeah, so that was that was kind of the whole Vegas thing. We did all the typical stuff too, as far as hitting up buffets and I'm not huge on buffets, but they have some pretty good ones in Vegas. I'll admit, and some unique stuff over there.
Well,
Again, since I live there, I like to get off the strip, so I did drive us around and take us. This is so it's a little bit before like Uber and that type of stuff too, that we took this trip. So
true.
yeah, we were still had to drive around.
Yeah, you couldn't just Uber, and you didn't want to pay for a taxi because there's an arm and a leg.
They did have free shuttles back then, but the shuttles were basically from one casino location that they owned to another one, so you can kind of get around that way. But yeah, it definitely wasn't like it is now. If you do end up going to Las Vegas, it's a lot easier to get around, but you have to pay more, generally speaking.
Well, and then we went on another trip to Vegas too. Remember the second trip?
Yeah, we took a second trip. That was definitely a different type of trip, not like the first one. You wanna get that one started?
Yeah, so we went on a second trip, and it was with me, Vaz, and his fake girlfriend, which was my wife, but not at the time. We were just dating, and so we go to Vegas, and we actually were staying at a timeshare that I had rented, and it was actually really nice. And so we would take the shuttle from there to the strip, and Divaz has no tattoos at all. So we go to the strip, and we go and we find a place that does like fake tattoos, and they give him the Playboy bunny on his arm, which was funny. So, but it looked real. So we took pictures of it and everything, and trying to make everybody believe it. And some people did believe it, which was the greatest thing ever, because like I said, he would never get a tattoo. As long as I've known him, he would never get a tattoo. But that we had everybody convinced that day he got a Playboy bunny on his arm, and it was pretty funny. It was worth what, $25 we paid for that. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was something like that. And the funny part was, it was actually like a partially nude woman. So it was, and I got it up on my arm. I had a picture of it. I don't think I still have a picture of it, but yeah, I even as a joke, I sent it to like family members and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So my parents were convinced, or at least one of them was convinced that it was real. So I had to finally tell. Of course, I didn't tell them at first. I let them believe it was real for as long as I could, just to have a little fun with them. But yeah, it was funny just getting different people's reactions. People that actually did believe it, and people were like, "Nah, you wouldn't do that."
But they did.
But yeah,
it
some
was
people
funny.
definitely fell for it. Yeah, because it like you said, it looked real, and yeah, I just sent a picture. And I was like, "Here, I decided to get this tattoo."
It was good. It definitely looked real. Like you said, the person that did it, they did a good job because like it, as long as you didn't touch nothing, it looked real until you touched something. Then it then it went bye. But yeah, it was definitely legit. It was
Yeah,
cool.
I think it lasted like 2 or 3 days in total as far
Yeah.
as finally completely coming. Yeah, that's why I had to hurry up and take a picture as soon as I had it done because I wasn't sure how long it would last. But yeah,
But
it was definitely fun seeing people's reactions that know me or thought that they knew me.
yeah, and then that was another fun trip because then also we went and saw some shows in Vegas on that trip. There's a impersonator that would play as Prince, and they had a real good show, and we listened to that. And like I said, that's one of our favorite performers of all time is Prince. So, it was a good show. Like I said, if you ever get a chance and you're in Vegas, I would recommend seeing that show.
Yeah, just so people, I've seen that show multiple times over the years, and it is still going on currently as of the recording of this. It's a tribute show for Prince, but yeah, it's Purple Rain. So REIGN is how they spell rain for the show. But yeah, it's a tribute show, but it's been around for a long time. They do a great job. They're actually playing and singing live, so they're really out there performing. So yeah, definitely shout out to them out there in Vegas doing it still.
Oh yeah, like I said, and this is probably 13 years ago when we went and saw them, and for them to still be doing the show, and if they're still doing the splits and everything else like they were doing back then, bravo, because that looks like it would hurt.
Right, yeah. Oh yeah. That's something I used to do way back in the day when I performed, and yeah, it's probably been about 10 years before since I've even dreamed about doing something like that.
And another good thing about Vegas is just like it's a lot of freedom down there. Like whenever you get to go, like I said, a lot of places you can't walk around with beverages. You can't like do anything out on the sidewalks like you can in Vegas. It's like
Yeah, I
it's a
wouldn't
whole
recommend
different
doing
world.
anything.
I'm just saying it's a whole different world down there compared to like anywhere else you live.
Yeah. Just keep, as long as you keep it legal.
Well,
Whatever you
yeah,
do anything legal in Vegas.
exactly.
Have a good
Yeah,
time.
but
I think Vegas should be paying for this podcast now. They have enough money. They can throw some our way.
Yeah, that was a bone.
But yeah, it's. I mean, maybe we'll do an actual full episode about Vegas sometime in the future. But I mean, I think we covered a good amount of it right off the bat here. It's a nice place to visit. It's one of those places you go there for a few days and you're done. You're kind of like, all right, I want to go back home. And like I said, it's different for me having lived there. I usually get off the strip. There are a few things I'll see on the strip that are okay, but certain restaurants and certain other places I just really enjoy. Like they have a really great theater that has a full THX sound off of the strip. That is the best sounding theater I've ever been in. So things like that. There are other things definitely worth checking. I know when my parents have gone down there, they went to like the Shelby Museum that they have, as in the Shelby cars. So,
and who makes Shelby?
well, Shelby, I guess technically make Shelby, but they have a partnership with Ford. So, yeah, but my parents have gone there. So there are other things to do if you don't want to just gamble. Like Tex mentioned, there's shows and stuff like that, and that was the other big thing for me. I used to like going to see shows, especially when I lived there. The one regret I had, one of my probably actually my favorite comedian of all time is George Carlin, and I was gonna see him the last weekend that he performed in Vegas before he passed, and I was like, I'll probably see him next time I'm in town or something like that. So I missed that opportunity to see him, and it's like it was one of the times where it reminded me, okay, if you get a chance to see somebody perform, go see them perform.
Right.
So that was kind of a missed opportunity, but that was one of those Vegas things too. If you're in Vegas, especially on a regular basis, there's always something and shows going on. So it's like sometimes you have to pick, what you want to see. But yeah, if you do go there, plan ahead if you can, and then figure out what show you really want to see. I mean, there's so much to check out, and then some of the shows are ongoing. They have a residency where they're going to be performing every week, but other ones are just limited engagements. And if that ever pops up and you're there, definitely check that out. But yeah, that's Vegas has changed a lot though. It's been a few years since I've been there, but last time I did go, one of the big changes I noticed from when I lived there, things actually closed now, which is weird, especially for Vegas. It used to be you can get whatever you want at pretty much any time. So there was a Starbucks by where I used to stay, and I used to go there. If I wanted a Starbucks at 2:00 in the morning or something like that, I can go do that. But yeah, it's really weird going by restaurants in Vegas and seeing them closed at 10:30 or midnight or something like that.
That's true. I mean, because like you said, when we went, nothing. It was open 24/7. So yeah, but I think ever since the COVID thing, that's why I think they started shutting stuff down.
Well,
I don't know.
This trip was before that. This was 2018.
Oh, the last time
last time I really went there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I guess I'll take a step back too, since this is the first one and we're kind of doing an introduction. Yeah, we have kids. So this is 2018 is the last time I went to Vegas before I had my oldest was born. So got to do it up a little bit there and have some fun before all that, because having kids kind of changes things and changes your Vegas trips.
True.
But yeah, that's when I noticed that things started closing earlier and closing in general too, which is really weird.
Yeah, we do have kids, and like I said, because the introduction video, I have one son, 3 girls, and like I said, they are a handful. I just put it at that.
I have 2 sons, rough and tumble and beating each other up, but have to make sure that they don't do that too much. And yeah, so it's always interesting though. There's always something they're gonna say or do that you're like, well, where did that come from? Why'd you do that? Kid logic is not the same.
My theory is they keep you young, because like all they do is get into things and get in trouble and make you want to pull your hair out a lot of times because they're doing stuff you're like, why are you doing that? But overall, they're kids are amazing. Love kids, but yeah,
right. Yeah, I mean, for me, I had him a little bit older on. Later on, I was a little bit older, so gave me a chance to really appreciate when I was able to have them. But yeah, also being older, you're like, I'm gonna keep up with you. So no, it's definitely a great thing. What's that?
I'm just saying, if you want to keep up with them, drink Red Bull like me, son. That helps you keeps up with them. Okay.
Yeah, I just try to figure out ways to you know, not have to move as much with them, but still being involved. Like, can you go grab that for me?
Oh, that's true.
No,
I agree with
but
you on that.
yeah, no, it's fun getting up and, you know, getting around with them and picking them up. And you're also, of course, at the age where, you know, for me, they're still younger, so they're at the age where like, oh, you know, I can't do this, and you show them how to do it, and they're like amazed, and then you are excited when you see them actually being able to do things themselves too. So that's the other fun part of it. You have a small human that is learning and evolving, and you get to watch it.
Yeah, you have a mini me.
All right.
I mean, basically,
It's
that's what
funny
they
because
are,
one of my
'cause,
sons.
yeah.
What's that?
No, I'm saying that's basically what they are, because, like you said, they learn everything that you do. So, like, they're always watching you, you know, until they get old enough to start back talking, then it's a whole different ballgame. But
Actually, no. I joke that my kids are already teenagers, even though they're still years off from that. Sometimes some of the stuff they do and say, it's like, really? Did you say that to me?
right.
But yeah, it's funny because, again, you just never know really what they're gonna do or say, and they get their little phrases too. Sometimes I like quoting them, especially quoting them back to themselves. You know, just if they say something to me, I'll give you an example. The oldest, he's at the age where he kind of thinks that if you don't know something, you probably forgot it. It's not that you didn't know, you know, like if we're watching a video and he'll ask me about like what's going to happen next in the video, and it's a video I've never seen before, and I'll be like, I don't know, you know, I have to watch the video and be like, you forgot. So so I throw that back at him sometimes
That's
if
funny.
he doesn't know something, or just to joke with him. If he
Right?
doesn't know something, I'll be like, you forgot. So
Exactly.
it has its advantages.
Right? That's true. Like the same thing, you know, we'll be watching a movie and they'll be like, oh, what's gonna happen next? Or are they gonna live? Or, you know, what's gonna happen? And I'm like, I haven't seen the movie just like you haven't seen it, so I don't know what's gonna happen. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's just funny. Like they trying to ask you what's already gonna happen. I'm like, and they're like, no, you've already seen it. I'm like, no, I haven't. Like, obviously I would tell you if I've seen it. You know, it's just funny.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely something I'm sure we're going to revisit in the future and go into, because having them around, there are always stories, always crazy things that they do.
Always.
But yeah, I think this is probably about a good spot to wrap up our first episode. We've gone on about some of the basics about us, and you know, that's the whole point of this podcast. You'll get to know us better as we go forward, and of course, we talked about Vegas at a pretty good length.
Exactly.
And yeah, I think that's, like I said, pretty good for first one. Anything else you'd like to add, or any other thoughts on this?
Yeah, like I said, you know, like I said, it was just a little brief description about, you know, so you could get to know us. Like I said, as we continue more and more on in the show, you know, obviously you'll get to know more about us. But like I said,
Is
just
that how
the
it
first,
works?
yeah, sometimes, you know, but just
You get to know more, so you learn more.
Exactly. But you know, just a
Because more is
recap,
more.
and that's all it was, you know. So you know, that's going to end, I guess, our first ever broadcast episode.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. And as always, go Cowboys.
I really hope you're not going to end every episode that way. If you are, it's going to be funny though when they lose. So
That's too funny.
all right. Take care.
All right.
Thank you for joining us, and watch us next time, or listen to us next time. Thank you.
Exactly. Goodbye.
That's all for now. You want some more, you gotta buy yourself a ticket. From Hoods to Backwoods Podcast, thanks for listening. We're out.